Hey everyone, it's John Sanchez with Team Performance Institute, and I am so excited to be with you this evening. I came to know Raise Up Families through my dear friend and colleague, Angela Burgess, who's dedicated a lot of her life to service as well. I fell in love with the mission of ensuring childhood learning, of the teamwork that goes around in stabilizing families, and of all the great things that Raise Up Families stands for. I am honored to be a part of this, working as a team to lift up families like Stephanie's.
Hello and welcome. I'm Angela Burgess, Executive Director at Raise Up Families, and on behalf of our staff, board, and volunteers, thank you for joining us as we embark on this very special journey. In 2008, I had the privilege of meeting someone who would impact my life in immeasurable ways. He showed me the possibilities of bringing together a diverse group of people to form a team that is laser focused on lifting up each and every teammate. A former Navy SEAL, executive coach, and CEO, John Sanchez knows better than anyone that to complete a journey, you have to have unwavering faith and belief in your teammates. Throughout his candidate training, a Navy SEAL will swim the equivalent distance of Cuba to Florida and then run the equivalent distance from the southernmost tip of Florida to New York. That's 1,600 miles. Now, if candidates had to complete that journey on their very first day in training, it's possible our U.S. Navy wouldn't have a SEAL team division at all. But inch by inch, day by day, and step by step, those who are determined, who are dedicated, and who have a commitment to excellence will persevere and will graduate. It takes courage, grit, and a team of like-minded people laser-focused on lifting one another up to help them get to each next step. In a similar way, parents coming to Raise Up Families seeking our assistance are embarking on their own 1,600-mile journey. In just a moment, you will meet Stephanie, one of our clients who has just taken her first steps with Raise Up Families. Over the course of the next 9 months, we will follow Stephanie on her journey to create a brighter future and more stable life for her children and herself. The team of people that will get Stephanie to graduation is comprised of our dedicated staff, our board and volunteer networks, and most importantly, you. You play a vital role in ensuring that no child falls behind academically because of an eviction. It is my great privilege to introduce my dear friend, our keynote speaker and partner, John Sanchez, as we begin this journey of strength, resiliency, and empowerment.
Thank you, Angela, for that great introduction. It's an honor to be with everybody tonight for Raise Up Families. I'm honored to be with you guys tonight. My name is John Sanchez. I'm with Team Performance Institute. And as Angela said, I got to serve our country. I got to serve in a very unique and fun way. I got to be with some incredible teams, men and women around the globe. Got to go places that you'd never want to take your family on vacation. But as you can imagine, the story doesn't start here diving out of an airplane at 13,000 feet. Unfortunately, and really embarrassingly for me, the story starts here. This is me with a Princess Leia haircut. This is the most embarrassing picture you can possibly imagine of a Navy SEAL, and for years and years it was top secret classified in the Sanchez family archives until my little sister here is put this on Facebook, right? I mean, look at this hair. It's just ridiculous. This is the first known picture of me in uniform, and apparently a uniform is a dress, red, white, and blue. I grew up in an extremely patriotic family. My father, pictured here, bottom left, he was born in the Philippines. He was born during World War II. He was actually born during the Japanese invasion of the Filipino Islands in World War II. My grandfather, who I'm named after, he's up here. He was one of those fighting Filipinos, fighting the Japanese off the islands until, of course, they couldn't. And as you know, the Japanese occupied the Philippines, and my family became refugees. And it wasn't until a great man said that I shall return, and he did, that this picture could be taken. This is the reunification of my family, after being refugees. And so I grew up in a very patriotic family, a family designed around leadership and around service to others, with great mentors. Another huge mentor of mine is this guy, and you wouldn't recognize this guy here. This is Alex Kozlowski. He is my maternal grandfather. So I know you're looking at me thinking, yes, there's definitely some there's some resemblance, right? Get this, I'm a Polish Filipino. My wife likes to call me a Filipino. I'm a Filipino with a Hispanic last name. Sanchez is my last name. And I speak no Spanish, sorry. I actually speak German as a second language. I was in the military and, got hurt, so I was a disabled, military veteran. I'm the ultimate mutt. I could fit into any diversity and inclusion group that anybody ever has. Alex inspired me, or he saw in me that call to serve, and I wanted to go into the Navy, and he said, you should try to go and be an officer, try to get to the Naval Academy, which I was fortunate enough to go to school at the Naval Academy, fortunate enough to graduate. I really struggled there academically, and I was fortunate enough to graduate and get into the SEAL teams, and I had a wonderful career and a wonderful time in the teams. And I want to share some of those stories with you tonight in order to hopefully help us focus on Raise Up Families. I want to talk about one topic that really strikes me when it comes to Raise Up Families, and that's resilience and the ability for these families to be able to get through, bounce back, and keep going through this. When you think about resilience, you think about many things. You think about tenacity, perseverance, getting up time and time again. The scientific definition of resilience is the ability of an object to assume its shape after being bent or transfigured or misformed in some way. We all think about our lives over time. You have this wonderful timeline of your life and success, and it's like we would all love them to beautifully rise up into the right? This would be like the ultimate thing. This is what I'd want for myself or my children or for anybody. We know that the reality of it is this. This is the reality of your success over time. You go through ups and downs, and a lot of us in this time during COVID and this time this year are really struggling and going through some of these down times. But if you look at your trend over the years, you typically have this upward trend. The graph's a lot easier to look at if you see this trend going up and to the right. We have these wonderful moments, these highlight moments that, these are the great moments where your baby is born, where you get married, where you graduate, where you get that job. These are great things that happen in life. You euphorically like to go back to them in nostalgia or in memory. But we tend to operate in the middle. We also have these difficult and tough down times. And these are the times where we really need to be resilient. And these are the times where we really need, more than anything, teammates. We need friends. This is the time when all our fears, our self-doubts, our denial, all that stuff floods into our systems, and we need to be more resilient. People ask about the SEAL teams, and they ask about how do we continue to perform at high levels, or how do we continue to get great missions and get them done. So you really have to look at the culture. So I want to take us back tonight just to a little bit of the culture. Talked a little bit about the training and what was that like. When we started training, there were 140 of us that were all very fit and selected young trainees. And they lined us up like the tallest guy here all the way down to me over here at the very end, right? So, and these sections off in groups of 7, and we learned to row together, to be together, work together, communicate. We were told you never wanted to be more than 1 arm's length away at any time from one of your classmates. That 1 arm's length, and if you found yourself like more than an arm's length away, it felt very unnatural. It felt really weird. And if they found you more than 1 arm's length away, they would take you off and have your own little private session, which you didn't want to be a part of. So we learned that quickly to work together. The tall guys, they call these guys the Clydesdales. There's this beautiful 6'4" football player, strong. Everything was a race, and they won most of them. The short guys, my little boat crew, they called us like many things, but my favorite was the Smurfs, because we turned blue and we got cold and we lost most everything. Here's a picture of the Clydesdales going through the surf zone, and here's my boat crew right here going through the surf zone. It was all about, that first 6 months of training was all about failure, actually. It was a lot about how you're going to react to failure and what you would be able to do during that. There's nothing that really points that out better than one particular week that's really difficult in SEAL training. It's called Hell Week. Hell Week is somewhere in the first phase of training, It starts on a Sunday and it finishes on a Friday. They don't tell you when it's going to start on Sunday. They break it out, and then on Friday they never tell you when it's going to finish. And sometimes, just to mess with future classes that are going to go through, they actually end it on Saturday. A typical class sleeps about 3 to 4 hours from Sunday to Friday. And it was noted that my class slept 97 minutes from Sunday to Friday. So I'll just share with you my little graph here. This is me going through Hell Week. You have to ask, why would you do that? Why would you put young men, selected young men, through this training? Why would you want to see this? And I go back to the instructors were looking for 2 things to build this culture. One, this resilience piece. One, they're looking, if you get knocked down, can you get back up time and time again? And 2, and way more importantly in the teams, and being a good teammate, is if you get knocked down and you're getting back up, do you have the ability to bring somebody back up with you? Do you have the ability to pull somebody? Can you see outside of yourself during times of adversity, during times of real toughness? One instructor came in and gave us a talk prior to Hell Week, and we're getting ready for this mental, just huge mountain to climb. And he said, look, it's pretty easy to get through Hell Week. And we're like, okay, yeah, right. He said, no. There's only one trick you need to know about Hell Week. He said, all you got to do is make it through the next meal. Make it to the next meal. That's all you got to do. If you can't make it to the next meal, then just make it through the next hour. If you can't make it through the next hour, then just make it through the next minute. And if you can't make it through the next minute, then you just make it through the next moment. And I've carried that with me time and time again, certainly through that week. That's how you get through really adverse times. But time and time again in my life, in business, as a husband, as a father, as a brother, sometimes life is just moment to moment. They do feed you, well, this is what a meal looks like after about 5 days of not sleeping. It gets pretty comical. Let me share with you a little bit of our ethos, the SEAL team ethos. And I think I want to share this snippet of it because I think it really pertains to raise up families. Right? In our ethos, it's been the undercurrent of our community, the undercurrent of our culture. So I'll never quit and I persevere. Those are the families that Raise Up Families is protecting and working with. These are folks that are not quitting. They're going to persevere. They continue to go through adversity that most of us will never have to face. But the next 3 words, the thrive on adversity, that's what's important. And I think that's why it's important to support Raise Up Families, because we want to give them the opportunity to thrive on adversity. You know, as you go through really difficult times, this ability to thrive on adversity in the SEAL teams, we see these awful and difficult times and moments as opportunities. In crisis, the Chinese symbol for crisis is actually 2 words. And this is so brilliant, right? In Chinese, it's 2 words that make up one. So the Chinese symbol for crisis is first danger, followed immediately by opportunity. So in crisis, literally lies opportunity. People ask a few questions about that SEAL team training. When we started training, we had 140 guys. When we finished, only 14 of us walked into graduation. And they ask, what differentiated those 14 from those 140? And I got to tell you, it was this sense of purpose, that who they really were. They had a strong sense of purpose of who they were and why they were there. And that is also important when you're facing adversity. If you wanted to be a SEAL because you wanted to shoot guns and throw grenades and blow things up and jump out of planes, you get to do all those things. It's pretty fun. I'll tell you, I had a blast doing it. But that's not a strong sense of service. That's not a strong sense of purpose. If you wanted to be a SEAL because you wanted to be a part of something bigger than yourself, to serve others, to be a part of a fraternity, a brotherhood, a community that could have global impact, that's a strong sense of service. I talked a little bit about my background, my grandfathers, and how I was raised. And I think that's also important now when I look back at my time and what I was really called to do. I love having a sense of purpose, and I think that's important, but also I love this slide more than ever, because Sense of purpose is great, but sense of humor is also right on. This is Hell Week, one of the hardest days of these guys' lives. Look at what this guy's doing. He's smiling. He's exercising the only muscle he's got left, right? And he's smiling. If you saw this in real time, he's shaking cold. This is an awful moment. And look at these two knuckleheads in the back. They're also smiling. This is the culture around thriving in adversity. If you're going through something extremely difficult and rough and you look over and somebody just gives you that smile or that nod, if you've been with a great partner or a friend through a hard time and they give you this, you can go another moment, you can go another minute, you might be able to make it all the way through Hell Week. And this is what we're doing. This is how we are helping. Because in the end, it is all about this. It's all about relationships. It's all about the community of relationships. It's about giving into organizations that make massive impact to the community. That the dollars invested and the dollars put in and the money that's invested in to raise up families will clearly come back into the community. It is proven time and time again. But more than that, it's not just about the money, it's about the relationships that they imbue and how we can continue to build cultural diversity in our world today. We'll talk briefly about Raise Up Families because I just became in love with the mission of it. And in just a few points, they've been doing this for decades. Since 1994, they've only been one arm's distance away. And that is very, very special. When we started SEAL training with those 140 guys, I thought arrogantly, egotistically, that I could pick which guys were going to make it. I go, yeah, that guy's strong, that guy's tough. There's no way that guy's going to make it. This guy. In the end, I realized how stupid I was as a young man to think that I could look into the hearts and souls of these candidates and figure out who was going to make it. Because I was surprised at those who made it, and I was surprised at those who quit. I never could have picked the 14 that made it. So you never quite know. But those who are empowered and those who are given that chance, some of them will really thrive. And also that there's a lot of strength in diversity. In a community, certainly in the SEAL teams, absolutely, that we find strength in diversity. The military is a cross-section of America, and that is so important to think about, that all these great teams are bred around diversity. It's amazing. And then I think about excellence. If you have a 100% graduation guarantee and you're breaking the poverty cycle, that's an excellent, excellent community. So I am honored to be with you guys tonight. I'm honored to be a part of the journey with Stephanie as she embraces her resiliency and finds empowerment with your support and help to raise up families. Thanks for this opportunity. God bless. We'll see you soon.
I'm originally from Vernon, Texas. I studied in college management information systems. I got my college degree, got out, got a good job. Then from there, I did a career change. I now work for the Department of Homeland Security here in Houston, Texas. With my career and my educational background, I never imagined that I would be in this situation needing assistance. Being a single mother with 3 girls is my biggest challenge. My oldest is 14, my middle is 11, and my youngest is 6.
My mom is pretty and nice.
I was behind on my rent. Unfortunately, I was furloughed during the government shutdown for 2.5, 3 months. Recently, I was in a car wreck, lost my vehicle. I'm the last to go to my family. When you have to depend on somebody else, it's very upsetting. I first found out about Raise Up Families through my landlord. She sent me an email and she said, I think this would be great for you. Look into it. It said Spring Branch, and I was like, Spring Branch, I'm in Houston, ISD. She was like, well, go ahead and try it out because I don't think they would send it to me if it was something that they were not able to help out with.
My first impression of Stephanie on our first call was a mom in a very stressful situation. I know that she was a hardworking person and wanted to continue to have a safe environment for her children, and that means keeping her apartment.
At that time, the only thing I had in my savings account was money that I had saved for a down payment for my car. I get a call from Rose, and she was like, hey, we're going to help you. We're going to be able to help you. And then it was the day that she came and paid my rent. Right there, I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I cried like a baby to know that I was going to be in this program to help me out.
My goals for Stephanie is that she embraces what our program has to offer, budgeting skills, parenting classes, and then applying that to her future, because not only will it change her, but it's going to also help her children in the long run.
What I'm looking to gain in this 9-month program is the ability to be able to save. I'm grateful for the people who support and donate to Raise Up Families, because it wouldn't be possible to help me. I'm very grateful and thankful. This whole experience so far, it's taught my girls it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to struggle at times. It's okay to cry. But at the end of the day, everything will be okay.
It's okay to struggle. It's okay to ask for help. It is okay, because Raise Up Families is only one arm's length away. And as we rise up out of 2020, we are bringing Stephanie and the 74 other families we have already served this year up with us. Now, we can only do this as a united team with your generosity and support. Earlier this year, our board of directors made the strategic decision to expand our services beyond our Spring Branch and Katy roots in response to the wide-reaching effect COVID-19 has had on our greater Houston community. Stephanie and her girls were the first benefactors of that expansion. As school enrollments continue to drop in our community, this is our moment to ensure that no child falls behind academically due to an eviction. This is our moment to invest in the future leaders of our community. Every $1 invested in Raise Up Families yields a $20 benefit in increased income and decreased dependency on social services. Please join our team today with your donation. You can simply text GIVE to 346-220-1924 or visit www.raiseupfamilies.org to make your donation. Our families are counting on you. Stay tuned in the months ahead to our social media and sign up for our newsletter if you're not receiving it already to see how Stephanie and her girls are doing on their journey to financial independence. Thank you for your generosity and your support. Thank you for being a part of our team, helping to break negative cycles of poverty and giving families a chance at a brighter future. Thank you for all you do to raise up families in our community.